Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu to all of you. See, to get the maximum benefit out of this class, I am recommending to everybody that get your cameras on, wear a school uniform, sit down, or if you are not wearing the school uniform, then it's all right, but sit down properly at a place where you can study. It should be nice and neat and quiet place. The healthy lifestyle that we talked about earlier also. I know you guys have not done it, so don't worry about it. I will go over those healthy lifestyle again. But one of the things you have to understand that you are going to you have to take this class seriously. That this is your actual class, and your teacher is teaching actually. So what you guys have to do is you have to take your class seriously. How are you going to take your class seriously? When you're going to take a class, then you should be dressed properly. लिखें in order to take the Zoom class. You should be dressed properly. Get your cameras fixed, because I think we are here for a long time. We are going to be here on the Zoom classes for a long time. Wear your uniform or proper clothes and sit down in front of your camera with your notebooks, your pen, pencil, because by now everybody should know that what are your timings. And your timings start from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock. In between, you have different classes almost every day. This is why it is extremely important that you take these classes very seriously. See, we are, recording. Sometimes recording happens, sometimes we forget, sometimes something happens to the computer. Not all recordings are getting through to you. So you have to attend the class properly. Understand again another one more point. Eat breakfast just like you are going to a regular class. Don't sit and eat in the class. You can have a cup of coffee if you like, but nothing more than that. And I will also be able to see that you guys are really sitting there or not. When we go to the beach, we do not wear a three-piece suit and go into the beach. We never wear a three-piece suit and go to the beach. Why? Because that is not a proper attire for going to the beach. Similarly, you have seen your father and some mother going to the office. Do they ever go in a knicker and a banyan? No. So this is why for everything that you do, there is a proper attire. People do interview on the net, and when they are doing the interview on the net, they are all wearing proper clothes, as if you are sitting in front of your employer. So similarly, I have my camera on. Why I have my camera on? So that you can see me, that I am sitting here and I am talking to you. So similarly, I want to see all my class also. We are going to make learning a real process. We do not want to make it a chapahana, that one child is doing it and the other child is copying it. This is very bad. Stop doing this. Write the wrong answer. It's all right. I will cut it. Then write it again. The correct answer. This is how you're going to learn. If you are going to copy from the other people, you're never going to learn. Then you think that you're going to become a doctor and engineer? No. You will never become a doctor engineer if you are just copying from other people. When you learn to do things on your own, then you're going to become a doctor or an engineer. Why? Because who's going to help you in inter? Right now you have some friends. When you're going to go to inter, you will not have friends. Why? Because most of them will be new people completely coming from different places, and they will not be interested in helping you. People grow up, and as they grow up, they stop helping. Friends stop being friends. So how are you going to learn then? This is why it is extremely important that you take your classes seriously, dress properly, turn on your cameras, and then this is how you're going to be. You'll be sitting, that sir is watching me. Just like you come to the class, there's no need to get anything fancy. Everybody has a school uniform. Wear your school uniform and sit down in front of the camera. Any question? See, by Monday, I want to see everybody's compliance. And don't think that these classes are going to end. Classes are not going to end soon. Life is very difficult and people are very, very, very worried. And we are going to continue teaching you. If you want to learn, then learn properly. I see so many people, parents complaining to me that my child is coming to class. I said, no, they are not even coming to class. They said, we have given them the computer and they're sitting in their room. Then what they are doing? I said, it is your job. What? The job of the parents to go check on their teachers, check on their children. So we are doing our job. You can see us here. You can hear us. There are so many people. You guys don't have your mic working. When we ask a question, nobody answers. See, you have to come to the computer age. Now life is not going to be easy. Why it is life is not going to be easy? We cannot go back to herding sheep and goats. It's not possible because you go on a land, it belongs to somebody else. You go to another land, it belongs to somebody else. Governments have taken over lands. People have taken over lands. You go towards the village of Tatari, and the train goes on and on and on and on and on. Yes, you go past through the village of Bhutto, the train goes on and on and on and on. It's all that long land belongs to them. So where is our land? So our land is this small piece of land where you are sitting on. Everybody understand the point here? Yes, answer me. Everybody understand
Yes.
the point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So very good. Now, inshallah, because we want to make it a real class and we are going to have more interactions also. And starting again Monday, we should have more compliance. Take out your social studies book. This, all the question answers were done. Don't worry, do them. Try to do them. Social studies book, we have the Nelson Mandela. See, I told you we will be doing both. I will give you extra questions. On Monday, you can pick up the assignment for English also and for Islamic studies also. Inshallah, I will have it ready for you. Now, in your social studies book, there is a chapter on Nelson Mandela. I have an old book. I will still tell you the page number. I think it is page number. Let's 127. I still have 127. See, Nelson Mandela never accepted Islam. So always remember this, that he died as a kafir, a non-Muslim. So if somebody died as a kafir, then nothing we can do about it. They will eternally burn in the fire of hell. So more we talk about it, more we are going to get used to it. Everybody found your book, Social Studies, open page number 127. See, who is this child? Realme C12, because identify yourself. बेटा ये कौन सा बच्चा आया है? Realme C12. अपना नाम लिखें यहाँ पे, अपना नाम बताइए. Who is it? Well, that child disappeared. All right, Muhammad Ali Ghori, let's start. Nelson Mandela, start from the great humanitarian.
The world today is much fairer and more just place than it was in the past, but there are still areas of injustice, prejudice and prejudice and intolerance and discrimination. From time to time there appear great people whose lives work is to change all of this and to bring justice to all people. A few of the human rights leaders of the 20th and 21st centuries are discussed below. Nelson Mandela, 1918. Mandela is a black African lawyer, politician, and
We
statesman
don't
who
have his
brought
date of
independence.
demise. His date of death should also be written there if you have the new book. Not written there. So you have the old book.
No, sir.
What is
Yes.
the date? Ajra, 2013 he passed away. So write down the date. Everybody write down the date. 2013 he passed away. Now continue.
Statesman who brought independence to the black people of South Africa. After World War One, the government of South Africa was in the hands of the white Boers, descendants of the early Dutch settlers who set about making the black people who outnumbered them 4-1 little more than slaves. After World War
So
II, the
understand this. That these white people are the Europeans who are going into the Africa, and they went into Africa and then they made these people slaves. And this is not allowed in Islam to be making slaves. All that slavery was established 1400 years ago in Islam. And always remember, if you are not a Muslim, you cannot be a humanitarian. If you are not a Muslim, you cannot be a humanitarian. This is compulsory for everybody to understand. If you do not recognize your own Lord, you do not recognize your own Allah, then how can you be a Muslim? And how you can be a humanitarian? Because a religion which provides maximum benefits, a religion which provides the maximum benefits to anybody is Islam. If we are not following Islam, then we cannot be humanitarian. Whether you are Mother Teresa or you are Dr. Ruth or you are Didi, if you are not a Muslim, then you are useless. Completely. Fine. Continue.
After World War II, the pressure intensified with the introduction of the policy of apartheid, apartness, or separate development. Laws were passed forcing black people to live in settlements outside the white towns. The black people had to carry a special pass, otherwise they were arrested and banished to the poor tribal lands, or in many cases to work as slaves for the white farmers. Black people were not allowed to use the same buses, trains, or caves as the whites. Their schools were pathetic without books and equipment, with one poorly trained teacher for every 80 pupils. They were banned from all skilled work, and in the places where they were doing the same job as whites, they were paid much less.
All right, stop. Thank you. See, there are many words that I know you guys don't understand. Let's underline the words because you are not going to ask me for the meaning. कि जितने ज़्यादा पूछेंगे उतने ज़्यादा करने पड़ेंगे. So now I'm going to give you word meanings. Because if you are not going to have word meanings, you're never going to learn anything. I don't want you to be a English tota. So I'm going to read it, and as I'm going to read it, I'm going to mark the words also, and then you guys should also mark it. There are certain pronunciations which are incorrect. We have to fix the pronunciations also. The world today is a much fairer and more just place than it was in the past. But there are still areas of injustice. Injustice means where justice is not taking place. Prejudice. Prejudice means that you discriminate on the basis of color of the skin or the social status of a person. Prejudice means you discriminate based on the color of the skin or the social status. Intolerance. Intolerance. Intolerance means that same problem, if it is done by your child, you accept it. But if the same disturbance is caused by another person's child, you get extremely angry. So you're on the edge. You're on the edge against other people. Against other people. Give you another example. Your child broke a glass. You said, beta, don't do it again. But if your Masi's child breaks the glass, You take a stick and beat her up. This is called intolerance. आई समझ में? Understand, children? This is called intolerance because it's just a glass that is broken. Same glass was broken by you also, and the same glass was broken by a child of the Masi. But you beat up the child of the Masi. Why? Because this is intolerance. And this is also injustice also. And this is prejudice also. And again, the comes word discrimination, which I am also using it again and again. To differentiate a person based on their color of the skin, their social status, and their religion. To differentiate a person based on the color of their skin, their social status, and their religion. And the biggest example is here. You know, these Gaddi Nashin Sayyids, that they call themselves Sayyid and they say, I am the Gaddi Nashin of this Peer. And then the next Peer has to come from that same Sayyid family. So this is complete discrimination and prejudice and intolerance because one peer giving to the other peer and the peer, the peer, the peer. So there are peer all the way to the peer. So this is also, but this kind of discrimination is under control in Pakistan because a small number of people, go to that peer. So they go to the peer, the peer, the peer, the peer, and the peer, the peer. In our country, if somebody comes sits next to you in a bus, so what? It's a peer, fine. He's the president of Pakistan, fine. It doesn't matter. But there in South Africa, because the Dutch settlers, see, they believe that they are superior. The Europeans believe that they are a superior race. लिखे ये. The Europeans believe that they are a superior race. And everybody else is inferior to them. Everyone else is inferior to them. So then in South Africa, and this law was applicable in America also with a different name. They made a law. It was
Sir, can
called,
you please repeat it?
repeat what part, beta?
Europeans one.
The Europeans, they believe that they are a superior race. The Europeans means that they are a superior race and everybody is inferior to them. Everyone else is inferior to them. So based on these premises, they made a new policy called the Apartheid Laws. It is written there in your book also, last paragraph, second line, apartheid, Apartheid. Apartheid laws, simple definition is to keep them separate or apart from each other. To keep them separate or apart from each other. They have also written apartness or separate development. So what they did, they divided the people. That, for example, just to give you one example, I'm just giving you a town. Iqbal town is only for the black people. Salafi town is only for the white people. I will give you a more real example. In Chicago, They have north part of the Chicago and the south part of the Chicago. Okay. In the north part of the Chicago, 98% of the white people still live in the north part of the Chicago. Chicago is a city, everybody knows it's a very famous city in America. And the south side of the city, it is all black. You can say 99% people are black, completely black. I personally experienced it. How? Because I used to go to my work sitting in the subway train. And what happened that I used a different entrance and I went down and I sat down in the bus, in the train, subway train. Now, when I sat down in the subway train, I did not realize it, but instead of going north where I lived, it was going south. So one station changed, white people left, some black people came in. Then it went down again, another station came, some more white people left, and more black people came in. Another station changed, and then more black people came in, and the train was getting full of black people. So then I looked, started checking the names of the stations, and I realized that I was going south instead of going north. So when the next station came, then I went out of the train, subway train, and I came out. I was in the pure south area, no electricity, dark. The station was also very dark, dirty toilets. I looked at it. I said, "Oh my God! Now where am I? I'm stuck here. Now I will be mugged." Mugged का मतलब होता है कोई आके चोरी करेगा मुझे मार बोल के भाग जाएगा. So, but I stayed there. Then after 5 minutes or 10 minutes, the next train came, which was going north. So then I sat down and I went to my home in the north side. So still, we have places where there's so much discrimination going on. You go into the white neighborhoods in Chicago, and they are neat and clean and no garbage. Everybody is, big roads, clean houses. You go to the south side of the Chicago, dirty houses, dirty streets, people sitting on the street, people talking in slang language, drinking alcohol, sitting. So this is how, this is the two different situations. Yes, Aisha, very late. Again, you are coming in towards the end of the class. Try to wake up early in the morning. Now you have missed half of the class.
सर लाइट गई हुई थी.
Yes, I don't understand Urdu. Repeat again.
सर लाइट was gone.
Achha, chalein. Okay, it's a good try, but we never say light was gone. We say there was no electricity at my home. All right, next time you want to tell somebody, so you say there was no electricity at my home. Light gayi huई thi is incorrect English. Okay, always say there was no electricity at my home. So as I was coming back, come back to the main point. So this is how these are all laws of apartheid. In America, they did not call it a law, but they were practicing it in until 1960s. There were separate buses for the black people and separate buses for the white people. आई समझ में? There were separate buses where the black people will sit, and there were separate buses for the white people. And then this is how the big fight started in 1960s, because a black woman, and she had worked and she became very tired. And when she was very tired, when she came in the bus, she sat down on a white bus seat. In the bus, there was a seat only for white. When she sat down on the white, people's seat. So she was asked to go, but when she did not leave the bus, then they beat her up, and I think, I don't remember correctly, they killed her. So then there were riots. Then there were riots, and people killed each other. Thousands of people. You think in America there are no riots? Thousands of people died during those riots. Right now also there are riots going on. Until the last few months, there was a man killed, a black man killed. And thousands of people have died, and they have burned the houses, and they have burned the shops and businesses. And they call it Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Likho, current situation going on in the Europe. Black Lives Matter. Right now in the 21st century, they are talking about as if now everything is fixed. Black Lives Matter. This is a campaign going on in Europe, and there are thousands of people fighting and dying. Now, on page 128, look on the left side. Let's see, Kissa, read what is written in the notice.
Okay, sir. For use by white person, these public premises and the amenities thereof have been reserved for the exclusive use of white person by order provincial secretary when Gabriel Dior blank.
Bogpan would leave that is, French. So here, understand this, that they have made places just for the white people, and there were no places for the black people. All the good things for the white people, all the bad things for the black people. So here, they give you the example also. On page 128, first paragraph, black people were not allowed to use the same buses, trains. It is the third line. Black people were not allowed to use the same buses, trains, or cafes as the white. Their schools were pathetic. Pathetic, underline pathetic. Pathetic, sit straight. Pathetic means in extremely bad condition. Pathetic, word is pathetic. Extremely bad condition. Extremely bad condition. Without books and equipment. Without books and equipment. With one poorly trained teacher for every 80 pupil. और ये word है pupil. Okay, pupil. Pupil means, what is the meaning of pupil? Yes, Ahmad Ansari. Alizadi.
Sir, student.
Yes, students. So this is different from people. And what are people, Ahmad Ansari?
Sir, persons, log.
Yes, correct. So these are two different words. Do not mix them. One is people and one is pupil. Many times people confuse these two words. So this word pupils means students. Very good, well done. Now, then how badly they were treated? They are saying they were banned from skilled works. Skilled work क्या होता है? When you learn a trade, that means you cannot become a carpenter, you cannot become a motor mechanic, you cannot become an engineer, you cannot become a doctor. Even if you are smart, you are only given manual work. Manual work क्या है? यहाँ पे खड्डा खोदो, वहाँ पे खड्डा खोदो, ये उठा के वहाँ ले जाओ, वहाँ से उठा के यहाँ ले आओ. This is what kind of works they were given. And they were used as slaves. And if by chance somebody, for example, he becomes a motor mechanic, so he will be paid less than a white motor mechanic. Same job, same skill, same expertise, but they are paid less. This is how they were discriminating against the black people of South Africa, and they were in a pathetic, terrible condition. Here, Kissa, let's read the next paragraph. See, Hajar asked the question what are white Boers means. White Boers are the people who were Dutch settlers, Dutch people from Denmark, European. Yes, Kissa, start.
Not much could be done politically. 4 million white elected 165 white MPs, while 13 million blacks could choose only 3 white MPs to represent them, and even these were abolished in 1959. The black people under Mandela and a few others formed a political party, the African National Congress (ANC), but this was almost immediately banned. To be a member meant imprisonment. Mandela and his companions were charged with treason in 1956, but found not guilty 5 years later. In 1962, Mandela made a secret trip to Algeria and then to London. On his return, he was arrested, charged with treason, and sentenced to life imprisonment in the prison on Robben Island, but he managed, even from his cell, to exert a great influence on the Black Freedom movement.
Okay, stop. See, as we know that Nelson Mandela spent almost 27 years from the early life. Also, we know later on they're going to talk about it here also. Treason means bagawat, rebellion against the government. Treason means bagawat, rebellion against the government. So, although he was found not guilty, they still kept him in prison for 5 years. Then he came back, and again, why? Because he had made African National Congress, a political party. Why they were punishing him like this? Because he had made a African National Congress party, and this is why he was being punished by the white boards, the Dutch settlers. All right, let's see. Aliza Adil, let's read next paragraph. Okay, no, Aliza Adil is there, but nothing going on. Farhaj, let's read. Yes, Farhaj, let's read. You know why these people are not reading from Farhaj? Sir, background voice is too much. Whose background voice is too much? Mine. It's all right, don't worry, we will listen. Are you sitting in a factory? Let's read. All right, Aisha, let's read. Faraj is being shy. He doesn't want to read.
In 1976, the Boer government ordered all black schools to teach Africans the South African Dutch language. This sparked rebellions, the most serious in Soweto, where police killed several hundred black people. Presidents changed each more extreme than the previous one. The United Nations passed many resolutions that were ignored, adding to the tension in the country. In 1989, a more liberal president was elected, F.W. de Klerk. He immediately lifted the ban on the ANC and released Mandela and many other political prisoners. He repealed the laws of the Apartheid Laws 1992 and organized election for 1994 with blacks able to vote in members of parliament. The result was as expected. The ANC won a massive majority.
All right, now Aisha, now you have done your reading, so now do a good reading. Okay, this was very bad reading. And another thing, everybody repeat. Word is apartheid. Okay, apartheid. Repeat with me. Apartheid. 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 Now Aisha, read again, and this time read properly.
In 1976, the Boer government ordered all black schools to teach Africans the South African Dutch language. This sparked rebellions, the most serious in Soweto, where police killed several hundred black people. President changed each more extreme than the previous one. The United Nations passed many resolutions that were ignored, adding to the tension in the country. In 1989, a more liberal president was elected, F.W. de Klerk. He immediately lifted the ban on the ANC and released Mandela and many other political prisoners. He repealed the last of the apartheid laws 1992 and organized elections for 1994 with blacks able to vote in members of parliament. The results was as expected. The ANC won with a massive majority.
Okay, better. See, when you are reading, always remember Adil is here now. Last 5 minutes are left. So you'll welcome Adil. Adil is coming. Yes, Adil, we are in doing Nelson Mandela in social studies. Open your social studies book, and have joined us in the last 5 minutes. 10 minutes are left now in the meeting. All right, children. So as we were discussing, the word is repelled. Repelled means to remove it or to end it. Repelled. Underline the word repelled, meaning to end it. Everybody got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Better. Liberal, meaning the person who is not very rigid. A person liberal. Hajar has asked a question, what is the meaning of word liberal? Liberal means not very rigid in applying the rules and regulations. See, 1994, 92, people, I don't know what kind of nonsense they were doing. You know how and why they changed in 92, 94, why they changed? Pakistan has a big role in this. Yes, very big role. Who can tell me?
Sir, Pakistan won the World Cup trophy.
Yeah, that's very good, but that is not the way. This is not the main reason. See, in 1990-91, the government had a crackdown on MQM. Okay, this 90, 91, 92, 93, they were extremely bad years for MQM. And thousands of MQM criminals, they went and they hide in South Africa. We are not talking about a few, we are talking about thousands. So now, Pakistanis are very dangerous and going from Pakistan, they upset the white president also because they don't listen to anybody and they are highly trained. All these criminals were highly trained in warfare, guns, and knife fights, and things like that. So, at many places where the white people were not able to control the blacks, those big areas were given to these MQM gangsters, and they established their own rules and regulations. And nowadays they are coming back to Karachi. Yes, nowadays they are coming back to Karachi. About 2 years ago, we had some people here. They came from South Africa. About 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, there were another people. So after spending 15 years, they start coming back to Pakistan. Why? Again, we are talking about thousands of people going from Pakistan. They were, अच्छे बुरे जैसे भी थे, sort of Muslims. Some killers, some gangsters. Now, and they start living there. They got married also. Now, after 15 years, they are coming back. Many of them are coming back. Who can tell me why? Use your imagination. It's okay. You can have a wrong answer. No big deal. See, their children are now growing up. Okay. After 15, 20 years of living there, they were gangsters. Right? But when their children started becoming gangsters, and when they saw their girls going out of their hands and start acting like the stupid people of that country, They are running from there now because the culture that they themselves created, they don't want it for their daughters and sons. Otherwise, if you are living there in for 20 years, why would you leave that country suddenly? Why would you leave your country? The only reason that they left their country is because South Africa was their country. Many of them, the children were born in South Africa. But the culture, the atmosphere, and what is the bad culture? The dating, the drugs, the bad things that are going on. They don't want their children to be involved in those bad things. This is why I understand this, all this dating and then drugs are bad in Pakistan also. Wherever you see, if you have any friend or anybody you know who is dealing with drugs, don't talk to them, stay away from them, report them to the police. We have to get rid of these nonsense from our country. I am living here in Pakistan. Why I came to Pakistan? Before getting married, when I was living in America, I realized that America is not a place for Muslims to live. You can come, you can live there for a short while, then you have to come back. You cannot raise your children over there. You cannot have your daughters, you cannot have your sons growing up in that bad, terrible environment. Because I was a Spartist, one of the brilliant people of the United States of America. I realized it without getting married that this is not a culture for a Muslim society that we should be developing. All the people who are living there in America as the naturalized citizens of USA are dumbass, stupid people who are for the sake of money. They have made dollar their god. They have made dollar their god. Their god is dollar, and for the sake of the dollar, they are living in a dirty, filthy environment, which is extremely bad and poor. Which is extremely bad and poor for their children. And many of them have realized it, and many of them are going to realize Armina Naz is coming. Oh my God. See, this class has become longer. Why is it not ending? Eh? So 8:20 it should also end. 9:14. We have become an extra class. So I'm going to end this class. We're going to start a new class. You're going to finish this chapter. And while we are taking the converting this period, then I want you guys to read the chapter, mark all the difficult words, read it again and mark all the difficult words. Everybody clear? We're going to start again in about 20 minutes. Assalamu
Yes,
alaikum
sir.
wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Walaikum assalam.
Walaikum
वालेकुम
assalam.
अस्सलाम
वालेकुम अस्सलाम
वालेकुम अस्सलाम
Walaikum assalam.